Assalamualaikum friends, welcome back to Class Science Series. In this video, discuss about the z-test, and especially we will discuss about the case that is basically normal population sample. In this video basically we will discuss about the one-tail test in the previous video which have discussed about the two-tail test. So here I have a question that is, you are a researcher interested in the average age of a particular group of people. We have selected a sample of ages from this group and you want to determine if the average age in your sample is greater than a claimed population mean age of 50 years. In this, we need to focus on this line. Is greater than a claimed population mean age of 15 years. This line basically describes that our alternate hypothesis should be greater than in alternate hypothesis the population mean should be greater than 50. So these are the ages of the individuals in our sample, that is basically comprises on these 10 values. So next we will move towards our first step, that is basically the formulate hypothesis. This is our null hypothesis, which is basically mu is equal to 50, means the age of the population is 50 years. But in case of alternate hypothesis, this is our basically the alternate hypothesis, means mu is greater than 50 years. In this basically the mean age of the population is greater than 50 years. This alternate hypothesis is basically totally depend on this line, that partially is greater than a claimed population mean age of 50 years. So this is our first step. Now we will move towards the further steps, but before starting the moving on the second step, we need to write our values in the variable, that is basically I have given a name of the ages. Then we need to calculate the sample mean and standard deviation, because the sample mean and standard deviation is not given in the question. If it is given in the question, then there is no need to calculate. So the sample, in order to calculate the sample mean, we need a function which is basically a mean. In this way we will write our variable, and in order to calculate the standard deviation we need to another function, that is basically the st, and in this we will also write our the ages. So here the population mean is basically 50. So this is all about the given data of the question. Now we will move towards our second step, that is basically the significance level. Most of the time the significance level is not given in the question, but we can assume it as alpha is equal to 0.05. In the case of the one test, alpha should remain 0.05, but in case of the two-tail test, it should be it may divide alpha by 2, and it should be like 0.025. So if it is given in the question, then we will use that, but in this case it is not given in the alpha is equal to 0.05. So now we move toward the next point, next step, that is basically the test statistics and computation. In this basically our test statistics is basically we will use the z-test. So we will move towards to calculate or to complete the z-test. Here we will first of all create a variable, that is basically the z-test result, and then we will use another function, that is basically the z-test. Then we need to write our the first x variable, that is basically our sample mean. First of all we need to always need to write the sample mean. Then we need to write the population mean. Write in this manner, that the mu and then the population mean. So after this we also need to describe about the standard deviation. So this is basically given by the library, which is basically STD leading the standard deviation, which is basically the sample standard deviation. So after this, we will also describe about the alternative is given in this question, which is basically the alternative. So, as I have already discussed in the previous video, that in the case of the two-tailed test, we will use for the alternative, that is basically the two-sided, because the hypothesis is basically the two-tailed, it comprises on the both of the is equal to and non-equal to. But in this case, our alternate hypothesis is greater than 50. So in the one-tailed test, we need to describe it on the basis of their alternate hypothesis. So alternate hypothesis is basically greater than 50. So here we will write on like a greater, but suppose if it less than 50, then we will write here less. Then we need to run this especially with the help of to print this result. So after running this code, you can see the output. So this is our output, that is basically the z-test of, in this case our this is basically our one sample z-test, and here the standard deviation of the sample mean is 17.264, and the p-value is basically 0.7829, and in this sample estimates mean of sample mean is 36.5. So we already discussed in the previous that the main concern of is our with the p-value. If the p-value is greater than 0.05, means the level of significance, then we will accept our hypothesis, or otherwise we will reject our null hypothesis. So in order to interpret our data, we will use this code to interpret our result. So here you can see that as the p-value is greater than 0.05, so we accept the null hypothesis. So this is all about this z-test of one-tailed test. If you have any question related to this, then you can comment us, and please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon button to